Today on the Fairy BOSSmother Show,
I never thought about being 60
I met with marketing strategist Diane Conklin, all the way from Georgia.
all the way.
A woman who's been running a successful business longer than most founders have been alive.
But I love what I do. I love affecting people.
She's smart, sharp, and she has an answer for everything. No peeking behind the walls of Diane, please, because I'm a professional. Take me seriously. I've been doing this for a really, really long time. But that's exactly the problem.
My dad was very authoritarian, and so it took me a while to figure out who Diane was inside of that. And
The more I pushed, the higher the walls went up. Diane, own your shit. Own it. This is 100% yours. Don't just give it away to someone else who can copy and copy and copy and paste it. Somewhere beneath that bulletproof professionalism is Auntie D, the fun, warm, wise woman that everyone wants to learn from. This is Aunt Di. If you're an entrepreneur, you just started your business, Aunt Di's going to drop a bombshell right now. Boom, 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 out. Can I help Diane drop that armor and let people see the heart behind the strategist?
Yep.
You don't want to do more. You don't want to take on more things. Why? You don't have to. Let's meet Diane Conklin. Now, before we meet Diane, I asked her a few questions about her and her business so I can see exactly what she writes and how she presents herself. Let's take a look. When I asked her, what's your business all about and who do you serve? Diane said, we specialize in helping businesses grow to the next level and beyond. We use direct response marketing strategies, rapid proof acceleration, leverage business growth, and strategic implementation that gets results. Okay, I have a few issues with exactly what she said. Number one, she uses we a lot. So I'm wondering, why is she using we? Because it comes across really defensive and really cold. And number two, I'm a marketing professional and I don't know what she's talking about. I'm curious to know what her approach is. What exactly are the results that she gets for her clients? And how does she, Diane, as the founder of this business, what role does she play in her business for her clients? When I asked her, what are your main goals for your business right now? Diane says, to help business owners take their companies to the next level of their growth, their way. All right, that last two words is so important, their way. But the problem is a lot of business owners don't actually know what their way is. So I'm curious to know how she works with her clients. Is it based on personality? Is it based on finances? Is it based on something else completely? I'm curious to know what her mindset is when working with various types of clients that she's been involving herself with. And if she can narrow down exactly what her results are, because again, her words seem really wide, really vague, really fluffy. I want to tighten that up a bit for her. When I asked her, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? Diane says, times have changed in the last year as they always do. So we're having to employ some different things to get the same growth we used to get. Absolutely. If Diane's been in the game for a really long time, of course, there's AI, there's algorithm, there's a ton more people who are doing marketing and keeping pace with technology right now. So is Diane feeling that push and that crunch? And are people misunderstanding what she can do and who she is? Her personal brand is going to play a really important part here, because if she's invisible, her entire business is going to be invisible, especially in this competitive market. When I asked Diane, have you done any work on building your personal brand? Diane said, I'm not a big branding person. I believe if you do your work and show up and be yourself, your brand will follow that. Right. But how much of herself is she showing to her prospective clients and to the world? And is she truly being herself, or is she being professional? Because that's two different types of personalities and only one of them is going to win. Having said that, let's meet Diane Conklin. Welcome to the Fairy BOSSmother Show, Diane. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's always an honor and a privilege when you're asked to do something like this. So thank you very much.
Yes, and all the way from Georgia.
All the way.
All right. You know what, girl? I like your energy. I like your vibes. I like your accent as well. So I know this is going to be a fun conversation.
I have an accent. I thought you had the accent.
I think we both have the accent. Let's swap.
Oh, all right.
All right. Well, Diane, I asked this of all of my guests. Would you like the full-on boss mode? So gloves are coming off and I get really dirty with you. Or do you want the gloves on and I take it slightly easy on you?
Oh, no. Let's go.
Buy gloves. Okay, boss mode on. So, Diane, tell the audience who are you and what do you do? But most importantly, take us a step back. What was happening in your life before you started to do this?
Whew, goodness gracious. We got to go long way back, right?
Let's
So
go. Roll
my
it.
name is Diane Conklin, and I run a company called Complete Marketing Systems, and that's exactly what we do, which is why I named the company that. Basically, anything that has to do with business growth and development, we do a lot of done for you, as well as coaching, consulting, those kinds of things. I've been in business for 35 years. It's tough to catch me off guard. Taking me back to what I was doing before all of this.
Yeah.
I had a job. I have a master's degree in exercise physiology
Mm.
and all sorts of health club situations, health clubs, wellness facilities, government facilities, hospital facilities. And I love that. I love that field as much as I love marketing. But I sort of got to the point where it was like, okay, what else is there kind of thing? And so I started studying information marketing and some of those things. And make long story short, I ended up interning for a guy for a year, worked at his company basically for free, learned pretty much everything I know about live events, about direct mail, about direct response, about information marketing, which we now call digital or online marketing, kind of doing that. But I was working in the health and fitness industry, and was dabbling here and there and trying to pick up things and going to events and trying to figure out how to make money in these other areas. And that's kind of how this all came about. And after spending a year with him, went back and ran his coaching division of his company for a while, and then ran his company for 8 years, and then kind of branched out on my own. So
Okay. I mean, working 1 year for some guy, right? You must have really inspired you. What was it about this individual that made you go, you know what, this person's really inspiring and I want to do what they're doing? Because it sounded like you kind of like walked in their shoes for a little bit.
well, so it's interesting because it was somebody that I respected, somebody who had been to a lot of events, somebody who I had seen speak, somebody who I knew had a good business, but he was in sort of this growth period and went from basically him and his wife in a part-time temp. And once I started with him, we took him in 3 years. We went to $7 million in three different companies. So we built that. But he was somebody that I knew he was a reputation as kind of a guy that was, I guess, hard-nosed, if you will,
Yeah.
but he was well respected from the perspective of, he had a good business, he did things the right way, and that sort of thing. So it was really kind of that connection of, and he was the guy who said to me, Diane, what are you going to do when you grow up?
Right.
I
Yeah.
was 30, I thought I was grown up. But, the fact that he made that offer, and I really just wanted to learn this business. And I thought, what better way than to get into somebody's office and be in there on the day in, day out and really learn from the inside. You don't get that opportunity very often.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you were 30 during that time. Okay.
Almost, not quite. I was late 20s, late 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. What were you doing during that time then? What was happening in your life, Diane? Like as Diane, not the intern who's about to launch this like massive new career for herself.
So while I was working for him or before?
Just a tad before he walked into your life, because it sounded like him coming into your life very much changed the trajectory of where you were going.
Yeah, from a business perspective, from a personal perspective, not quite so much. I was living here in Atlanta, just kind of doing my thing on the day to day. Like I said, I loved the fitness industry, but there just wasn't ever enough money in that for me to. I've always felt like there was something more I was supposed to be doing. And interestingly enough, the things that I loved about that are the same things I love about what I'm doing now, right? Making a difference in people's lives, the teaching, the coaching, all of that is a piece of me that I just brought from way back when to that into this.
So it sounds like you have some sort of like methodology to work with people, because you mentioned teaching, coaching, consulting, all of that. That's quite a wide umbrella of lots of different things that you do, Diane. I mean, the fact that you call complete marketing systems, right? It kind of says it all. It's like it's an umbrella that has everything to help a business grow. One thing I noticed, Diane, is you say we a lot. So who exactly is we when you're referring to that?
We is just the company, right? So we is me and whoever I have working with me. And the great thing about the industry today is that we could go from me to we to 15 people really with a phone call, right? Really like overnight kind of thing. So we is just how I refer to the company, because it's never just me. It's never going to be just me. You know, I often tell people, if you're a solopreneur, you're in the worst possible position you could be in, because it's just you, right? You're doing everything, which means you traded one job for another, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a job, you know, contrary to popular belief, right? What some people say. There's nothing wrong with having a job, and there's nothing wrong with moving from a corporate job to owning a job if that's what you want, right? But most people will tell you they start a business for one of two reasons: time and money freedom. Those are the top two that people tell you that they start a business. So if you're a solopreneur, guess what? You just put a cap very quickly on both of those things. Because if you're by yourself, you can do some amount of leverage, but it's really hard to scale as a solopreneur. You can leverage with automation and those kinds of things. But if you're doing everything, your time is limited. There's no way for you to really scale and make a lot of money. And you have zero time freedom. Zero.
With the experience in the background that you have, Diane, where did you imagine yourself to be at your age right now? And did you make it? Did you fulfill it?
You know, I don't know that I ever really thought about this. Is interesting because a friend of mine who's a little older than I am and I were talking about this the other day. You know, when I was 25 and 30, like, so I'm 62. I just turned 62 in August.
Woo! Yeah.
I never thought about like being 60. You know, it was like you hoped that you would get there, right? Not everybody is blessed to be here. But I don't think I ever really thought about that piece. I mean, I saw people who were retired, whatever that meant. I grew up on a 75-acre farm. And my dad farmed 450 acres and worked a full-time job my whole life. And so I think the thought of like, where was I going to be when I was 60? And the guy that I worked for, that I did the internship, in his 70s was still working full-time, right? So, you know, I can't imagine like not doing something, not working, not being at this point, right? Now, ask me in 8 years when I'm 70, maybe I'll have a different idea about that. But I love what I do. I love affecting people. I love having an impact and watching people take their businesses from where they are to places they never thought they could be, right? My average coaching client is with me for 8 years.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
And I just had somebody who came to me, went through that process, went from making really no money to making about 500,000 a year, and then decided, okay, I want to semi-retire. And so now she's working, instead of 14-hour days, 4-hour days, 4 days a week. And so it's fun to watch people and help people grow all the way through that process.
Okay. So I want to understand a little bit more about you, Diane, because you're talking a lot about marketing and your clients and the impact that you make, right? What does Diane do for fun?
If you'd asked me that 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had an answer.
I know, because you sound like a workaholic, girl.
I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore. And seriously, 10 years ago, when somebody asked me that question, a coach asked me that question, my response was, well, work is fun, right? And I truly, honestly mean that. I love what I do. So for fun, Diane reads, Diane works out, Diane walks. I love lifting weights. I love being in the gym. I have a friend who's got a little grandson that's 4 that I love spending time with and going to his events. I love to travel. So I do a lot. For the last 4 years, and hopefully for many more years, I go to the women's college Final Four every year. That's been a fun kind of long weekend sort of thing. So, you know, nothing exotic necessarily. I'm not going to, you know, Africa or Australia or whatever, but I love to travel and, you know, do things with the people that you know, that matter to me, kind of thing.
Yeah. But you know what? Your day-to-day is so important, because I think when a lot of people thinking about 10 years from now, I want to do this, it's usually this big, lofty, aspirational, almost like Instagram goals that is so far-fetched. And you mentioned about how, you know, it's not Africa, it's nothing crazy, it's your day-to-day. I need to ask you one thing, as a fellow lifter myself, how much can you lift?
You know, what are we talking about?
Let's talk about the deadlifts. You know what? Give me your deadlift number, because I want this on the record, guys.
I haven't done deadlifts in so long. See, I don't know how old you are, but you're probably no more than 30, right? I'm 62. Okay. Wrong. All right. Well, you wear it well. So Monday and Thursday is the same body parts, and then Tuesday and Friday is the same body parts, kind of thing. But Let me just say, lifting up a 25 or 30 pound dumbbell is no big deal. Lifting a 45 pound
Love it.
plate on a bar is no big deal. So
Yeah, I want to picture this. This is just for the record for everyone to say. Lifting a 30-pound dumbbell is no big deal, just like growing your business, right? Because I think when it comes to like growing your business, you mentioned solopreneurs, right? They have a cap on themselves already because it's really hard for them to scale. But in order to make them understand what it is that you do, Diane, bring in the personal into it. This is why I'm asking you those personal questions. What do you do, Diane? Because I don't get a sense of who you are right now. There's a wall up right now. You have all of these screens behind you. I feel like that's done on purpose. There's no peeking behind the walls of Diane, please, because I'm a professional. Take me seriously. I've been doing this for a really, really long time. And I've helped a business grow by 7 million. Those are serious numbers. Those are serious things that you do for your clients. But I know there's a fun side to you because I'm just
there's totally a fun side. I mean, I'm a big jokester. I love to have fun. I love to do, and I have fun with my clients, right? I mean, to me, that's a big part of it. I tend to be very, you nailed it on the head, right? I tend to be very serious when I'm in business mode, unless I'm speaking from the platform. And then I tell people one guarantee I'm going to have is I'm going to have fun. You can come along if you want, kind of thing. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love to laugh and have fun. Matter of fact, one of the things that I almost always do when I travel is find a comedy show.
I knew it. I was like, this girl's into comedy. I know it.
So, oh yeah, I mean, fun, it's all about having fun, and your business should be fun, right? Mm-hmm. And so while it is serious, there has to be a fun side to it. And, somebody asked me the other day, if you had to change one thing in your business, what would it be? And I always say the same thing. I don't live my life with regrets. I would have started everything sooner is my answer. But the other answer is I would have had more fun, like earlier on, because, it was like, this is
business. Yeah.
Business is business.
Business is serious.
Never the two. And part of that was having worked for the guy I did the internship with, right? And so when I was with him, I kind of had to be a mini him.
Right. And you are a mini dude, right? You're a mini guy.
And it took me a while to figure out after I left who Diane was, right? Outside of that, because, when you're working for somebody that closely and you're running their events and you're running their office and you're meeting with them and you have to have their voice. Yeah. And so you sort of take on their personality, right? And I grew up in a family like that. My dad was very authoritarian, very, and so it took me a while to figure out who Diane was inside of that and to figure out that I could have fun in my business and with my clients and all of that and still be taken as the serious business person. You know what I mean?
Of course, because the work that you do is going to take them from A to B, right? There's always going to be a result with the work that people do. That is a serious part of the work that you offer to your clients. Now, everything else is Diane. And I have such a big problem with you saying we, Diane, because this, number one, is this your business?
It is.
Right. So drop the we, Diane. Take full ownership. You are the captain of this ship. You've been running this for a really long time. You're really damn good at what you do. Own it. So I know that there's a team of, you have people coming in and out of your business. It's my team and I going forward, right? Because then we know that you're not just, because right now your barriers are just like, whoop, no one can see Diane. No one knows who Diane is unless you work with me. That's when people start to understand who Diane is a little bit more. But it's almost like, hey, you got to pay me before you get to know me. And, which is fair.
It is fair because the one thing is my clients know a lot more about me probably than anybody else does. I'm better about it now than I ever have been. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a series that's actually started yesterday, right now that you can find on social, but it's Aunt Di's Dozens. And this is the third dozen thing that I've done, but I really had a lot of fun talking about like the lessons I've learned from the nieces and nephews, because it is, we all have, and I start off by saying, like, we all have characters that we play in our lives, right? We all have roles that we play, right? Mother, sister, brother, father, aunt, uncle, whatever, boss, whatever those things are. And one of my favorite roles is Aunt Diane. Right. And because I love and always have, if I see a baby when I'm out somewhere, it's all I can do not to say, can I hold it? Like I'm always. And so that having them around brings out that the kid part in me kind of thing. So, and look, I'm happy to open this up. You're happy to see the pictures. And
Well, I'm gonna bust it open anyway, so it's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm very much about, the people that I care about and the people that I love in my life. Like they get that loyalty and all of that. And in my business, and in life really too, it's about discipline, right? And so people make fun of me. It's like, how do you get so much done? Because I do what's on my calendar, right? And that's, people are like, and I know discipline is not a very popular word, but I think in life, it's important, and it's certainly important in your business.
You need discipline, because then if you don't have discipline, Diane, you don't have boundaries for yourself, in your business, for your clients. And then that boundary is going to constantly just merge on top of each other. So speaking of boundaries, what made you decide that you're now ready to be on the Fairy BOSSmother Show?
There's not anything that is going to happen. There's no question you're going to ask me that I don't know. But if I don't, I will tell you. I'm not sure, or I don't know, or that's not my specialty area. I can find out, right? Yeah. But, it used to be when I did these kinds of things, I'd want the questions up front and I'd have all the stuff written down and all that. And a friend of mine was doing a podcast with me, and I asked her that question, and she's like, Diane, you've been doing this for long enough. We're just going to talk. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, yeah. And so from then on, I've been like, okay, I got this. I got this.
I'm really curious though. You mentioned limitations about money and time. That's one of the things that stresses out a lot of entrepreneurs. It's, I don't have time, or I don't have money, or I don't have both. And that's the thing that's really sinking not only their business, but also their personal life as well. Yep. So I'm going to throw that back on you, Diane. If you had $1 million in your bank account and there's nothing for you to worry about, means your time has opened up, what legacy would you like to leave? When someone thinks Diane was ... what would that be for you?
Yeah, that's really easy. Diane helped me with fill in the blank.
Diane
was help. Whatever it is, doesn't matter to me, right?
No, I need you to pinpoint it.
Okay, so from a business perspective, Diane made a difference in my business and my life, because I don't think you can separate the two, right? And so the thing I get the biggest thrill out of is thinking about the ripple effect, right? So you and I have a conversation. You take something that I said and you share it with one person. Think about, I've now affected indirectly thousands, potentially thousands of lives. That's the piece for me. So I want my legacy to be that I made a difference in people's life, that I helped them with something, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's weight loss, no matter what it is, that I made a significant difference in their lives.
Okay, I want to go, Diane, I want to go a little bit deeper. I'm just going to keep asking you this question, okay? How did you make a difference in their life?
By being there for them when they needed me.
Because?
Plain and simple. Again, because it was important to them, because they needed me. They needed somebody.
And I'm just going to keep asking you these, I'm just going to keep this train going. I'm going to make you dig.
And their life was made better because of that in some way.
You keep saying some way. So what I'm noticing, Diane, is there's a lack of identity on who you are and how you help people. I'm not able to grasp.
From a business perspective, there's not at all. You asked generally, right? In my life, I think it's very different than from a business perspective. My business legacy is that I help people make more money. I help people have more free time. I help people grow their business to a point where they wanted it to be.
Okay, I'm going to ask how?
With marketing, with mindset, with tools, with leverage. So I'll tell you how. The framework of what I do is 5 steps. Strategy, which means what's the result that you want and working toward that, right? With a marketing action plan or a map, which is what I call that, right? That's all about your marketing, your plan, your calendar, all of that stuff. 3 is with implementation. That's one of the things I'm all about is how do you implement and get shit done, right? Because people are addicted to this drug called busy, not productivity. Yes. Nobody wants to implement and finish things and be productive. They want to be busy. 2 very different things. 4 is leverage. How do you leverage your business? Because you have to leverage before you can scale. And then the 5th piece is optimization.
Okay.
And that's an ongoing piece throughout the entire process. Yeah. So that's how.
Does your methodology, Diane, have a name?
I call it my framework, Complete Marketing Systems Framework.
All right. I feel like you need to give it a much sexier name than that, because anyone can steal that from you. Anyone can steal that from you. So we already...
You know what? Anybody can steal anything these days.
Yeah. But it's all about, owning what it is. You're talking about your legacy, right? You're talking about your legacy. You talked about how you've helped people And every time when I asked how, now we figured out, okay, there is a framework behind your work. Of course, there has to be. You've been doing this for a really long time, very successfully. I'm going to keep saying that because if anyone's watching this, you need to work with Diane if you are stuck with your business and how to grow, right?
Absolutely.
But there is a methodology. There is a way that you work with your clients. It's very systematic. It's scale growth mindset, but I don't even remember what your framework was called. It's gone. It's absolutely gone, Diane.
It's not, because it's a framework. You got the word. That's the word you need to remember.
But that's a noun. That's a noun. There's nothing attached to that. It's very much like an identity. You need to give your methodology an identity, just like we need to give your company an identity. And that identity, Diane, is you. Because without you, this whole system falls apart. Even if you decided, I'm selling my business or someone else is running this business, we have to remember who started this. And I know you can answer these questions, Diane. Who started all of this? Whose legacy is this?
Oh, I did. From the ground up, from zero, from not one client, not one course, not one anything.
Right. This is yours, Diane. This is 100% yours. You started it. Ground up, ground zero. There was nothing there. You built it up. You made it successful. You made it a thing. People will remember you for the work that you've done for them forever now. So we need to give that some weight. We need to turn this into something that people cannot forget, like the Conlick way or something that you can take full ownership of, Diane.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
I've just always called it the Complete Marketing System Framework.
Oh, forget about that. I don't even remember that one. I don't remember it. Diane, own your shit. Own it. This is 100% yours. Don't just give it away to someone else who can copy and paste it, because they can completely, instead of calling it a content marketing system, they can call it content marketing and system or something. They can add one extra word or remove one extra word and completely take your work, replicate it, and give it a fancy logo or something. Yep. Which happens all the time in business.
Yeah, it does. But you know what? Here's the difference. They can replicate that all they want.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll never keep up, and they're not me, right? And so that's the piece that people are like, aren't you afraid people are going to steal that? No, I'm not. Matter of fact, there's a lot of things that I use in my business that I give to people without a copyright on it, because I don't care if you use it. Go use it with your clients. I don't care. You're not me. You can't keep up, and you don't have the background and the experience and the 30 years of working with all the different industries and people that I've worked with. So you can have it. It's okay. Like, I'm not that person that, right? Now, don't steal my courses, because that's a whole different thing, right? That's a whole different thing. And I've had that happen too. But I think people are so afraid of, oh my gosh, right? I put this out there and now somebody's going to copy it. So what? Let them. There's nothing new to teach. The only new part about it is who's teaching it, right? Is who's giving it to you and the experience that they bring and how they can take that and utilize it in a way that fits for you, in a way that you can understand it, in a way that helps you grow. That's what matters.
Do you know what you just did there?
What's that?
You just talked about the power of your personal brand without you even knowing it. This cannot work. Anyone can use this methodology, but they're not going to use it as effective as me, because I'm the power behind this.
Right, exactly.
Right? You are the power behind this. Your experience and your expertise and all of your experiences, this is what makes this work. Someone else can teach it, but it's never going to be as effective, because Diane is not doing this. Right. This is Diane's thing.
Yeah. And the other thing I think that the unique piece for me is that I let people bring their business to me where it is and take it where they want to go. Now, sometimes where they want to go is surprising, but I'm not that person that says, oh, you have to have $1 million business in order to be successful. No, you don't.
Right.
You get to determine where your success is. So if you want to sit at home and work 4 hours a day and make 60 grand a year and that makes you happy, I'll help you do that. If you want to make $500,000 a year, I can help you do that. If you want to make millions, we can help you do that, right? But we get in this mode of, well, if you don't make $1 million a year in your business, you're not successful. Bull. You get to determine what's success for you, not somebody else. Right?
What's success for you, Diane? Not for your business, for you personally.
Success for me is getting to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want.
And you're doing that, right?
I am doing mostly that.
Okay.
So, you made the comment that, I'm a workaholic. I used to be. I'm not anymore. The last probably, 6 or 7 years I've wised up, I guess. My years have caught up with me, but it's not all about the business. It's not all about work, right? There's so
No,
many other
exactly.
things to enjoy. And, life is either short or long, depending on how you look at it, and it's too short to work all the time. And I don't care what you're doing, right? There's got to be, and I don't believe in balance, because I think that's a word that messes people up and gets people in trouble, because we're usually out of balance, right? If you're on vacation, you're out of balance because you're not doing any work,
Yeah.
right? If you're getting ready to launch something, you're working 60 hours, 70, 80 hours a week, you're way out of balance. But if you look at a long term, I think then that's where balance comes in. And so you got to have some of that, right? And so, my goal right now is to be working 4 to 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, and, have some more residual things coming in. And so that's what I'm working on for myself, so that there is money coming in, when I'm 80 and sitting around, with somebody else's grandkids, because I don't have any of my own.
It's Auntie D. Well, that's the thing, right? There's a lot of potential for you to not do more than what you're doing now.
Yep.
You don't want to do more. You don't want to take on more things. Why? You don't have to. Everything that you mentioned, Diane, I see $1 million woman in front of me, but she's hiding right now. She's hiding right the way over there by using by not giving yourself ownership of the work that you're doing, by talking about your clients, by talking about very general things and not being very specific enough. If you were to nail these down in a very concrete fashion and really show off who is Aunt Diane, the woman behind these $1 million brands, behind these $1 million businesses, because you can get them there with the Conlick methodology. And no one else can do this better than I can, because of your years of experience. Your personal brand, Diane, when there's shape to it, is magnetically powerful. Do you feel that power, or do you feel like you're not there yet? That's not coming out right now.
Oh, no, I definitely have for a long time. When I first started my career, I probably didn't, because it's that piece of, what am I doing this when I know about this, right? I know about exercise and fitness, and I have a master's degree and these big certifications that I've gone and got. That's my area. What am I doing talking about, marketing and all of that? But, over time, as I've grown and as I've studied and as I've learned, and, I've earned, I think, the right to, to say, okay, yeah, no, I don't have a degree, but you know what? Nobody asks.
You don't need to know. No one does. No, it's a checkbox now.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, coming into 2025, everything that you described are things that are just like basic now. You need to have these things in place. No one asks now. You're just expected to have the degree. You're expected to have at least some level of experience. What you need right now is that authority and credibility. And it doesn't matter what age you are. You can get that when you're 15. You can have that experience and credibility without having to work a job. It's about your name, the weight behind your name, the weight behind your personal brand, and the weight of who you are right now in this moment.
Yeah. And, I think one thing that is different, I think, for me and in my business, as opposed to some of these quote experts, is you could call yourself an expert, but what have you done? What do you have behind you? Right. Yeah. Have you worked with businesses? Have you grown your own business? You can't teach me how to run $100,000 business if you haven't done one, if you don't have one of your own. Right. So there's a lot of that, I think, in the industry and in the world today. And I'm like, that's BS.
Yeah.
Don't be an ivory tower professor kind of thing.
Right.
Been there, done that. Like I said at the beginning, it's going to be tough to stump me with something, right? From a business and knowledge perspective. So,
I'm gonna put a plug in there, because I would love to explore that a little bit more. We're actually halfway in the show, Diane. Would you like me to go deeper? Or do you want me to go steady?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
Knock yourself out. Whatever you want to ask.
All right. Well, Diane, have you ever Googled yourself?
Sure.
Okay, tell me, what have you found? And is there anything surprising, or you think,
It's been a while. I mean, I think the biggest thing, I was surprised at the pictures that were out there. Not so much, the other stuff, but there's a lot out there. Obviously the website, a lot of the speaking things that I've done, my courses, that kind of thing. A lot of it's there.
Okay.
A lot of it's
all right. Well, I'm going to Google you, because I'm dying to see what the internet has to say about you, Diane. All right. Give me one moment. I'm just going to...
I haven't done it in a long time.
Well, we're about to go straight into the lair. So let's have a look. Okay, Diane, let's have a look. Okay. So Diane Conklin, just searching you on Google. So first things first, there's quite a few pictures.
Yep.
Thankfully, they're mostly you. That's great.
Yep.
Would you say they're recent pictures or slightly older?
They're the ones that I have out there.
All right. That also translates as you haven't updated your stuff in a while.
I have not had a new headshot done in a long time because I hate.
Oh, why is that, Diane?
Why is that?
Mm.
I don't know. It's just the whole like, putting yourself together and all the makeup and the other reason is that when I smile, my eyes close, and so you can't see my eyes, and that's always bothered me.
Oh, but that's one of your characteristics, aren't
Right.
it?
That's
Again,
exactly what the photographer said the last time that I
yeah.
went.
Do you know, own it. This is going to be the name of this episode. Just Diane, own it. All right. So it seems like there's a lot of you under Diane Conklin, which is absolutely amazing. Having said that, though, I just noticed that there's an obituary, so that's not good. Under
Right.
your name, right at the
I
bottom.
know. I that's been there for a while too. So
So you are in competition with another dead person. Okay, so Diane, there's you seem to be owning your name. What I mean by that is you don't have a lot of competition for the name Diane Conklin, which is actually really, really good because it means that because you don't have competition for your name, you're not in competition with someone famous, somebody who has a lot of press and media. It's a space that you can completely dominate just as yourself,
right.
as you are right now. So there's a lot of potential for you to show off a lot more about who you are, what you do. If you want more speaking engagement, your name does not have that competition, right? When was the last time you did a speaking engagement? And is this something that you want to do more or no?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to become a road warrior, I don't want to be out there all the time kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely want to do more speaking again. COVID kind of decreased a lot of it. It's picking back up now. I think
Yeah.
the last thing I did was actually here in Atlanta with a group called NACE. Don't ask me now what that stands for, but it's a group of like caterers and event planners and that sort of thing. And I spoke with them. I don't know. It's been probably 2 or 3 months ago, and that was fun. They actually want me to come back. So
Gotta ask you though, was this paid or unpaid?
it was just a local 30-minute kind of thing. So look, the key is to anything that's unpaid to turn into paid, right? So it turned into paid.
Okay. Well, I can see you charging $10,000 for your speaking
Oh yeah,
engagement.
I have. Yep.
Yeah, we got to get you out there and do that, do more of that, Diane, because you have so much to share to the world. And what are we not doing anymore, Diane? Is it we or is it I and my my team and I?
Yep. I got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to go on your website. I'm very curious to know what Diane's website looks like.
Very old and hasn't been updated. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my God, just like your photos, girl. What's going on? All right, Miss Marketing Genius. Why hasn't your website not been updated?
Just hasn't. I just haven't done it. It hasn't affected my business. People are much more interested in what's happening in your social these days than on your website. So
Okay. How often are you on social media and how do you usually get your clients?
daily.
Okay. Through social media?
Do clients come from social?
Mm.
Yeah, they do. Referrals, ads. I mean, there's all kind of ways. Speaking gigs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it sounds like you need to update a lot of things about yourself. What, Diane, I feel like you're hiding right now. I really do. I feel like you're hiding in your past by not showing off the person you are right now. And girl, you are a gem. Do not hide that away from the world.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Nothing. I mean, I'm, still doing my thing, still, working with clients and doing everything I've been doing. So
Yeah. But someone working in marketing, we have our own duty to keep up to date with what's happening in marketing, right? So if our businesses and ourselves, if we're not up to date, then it's kind of like deceiving your audience because they're expecting to see that version of Diane. And then this version of Diane shows up and you're clearly hiding something right now. But that's what it seems like online. And I'm not saying that you are hiding something, but this is what the general population will think. And that's what I'm saying to you right now is, are you hiding something or is there something that's keeping you stuck in the past?
no, I'm not stuck in the past. I mean, I've stayed up with, all the new stuff, AI, whatever it is. It's just a matter of, I haven't taken the time to do the website. I mean, there's plenty of updated shots of me on social and videos and that sort of thing. So is the headshot that important? I mean, I could put something else on there, but I sort of, I'm old school, right? I believe that the headshot on your social should be a professional shot kind of thing and not, a shot of me in a baseball cap or a shot of me working out or, whatever. So
It
I'm
should
not,
be, yeah. It should be a shot of who Diane is, just Diane. So it doesn't matter whether you're in a suit or a baseball cap. I want to see who Diane is right now, the woman who's standing in front of me. I want to see that gem. I want to see you everywhere, Diane. I want to see you everywhere, because I believe that you can make even more of a bigger impact than you are doing right now. But I feel like something is really holding you back, and I'm seeing it in your eyes now. I'm seeing it right there.
I don't think there's anything holding me back. I'm the same person. What you see is what you get. This is
Okay, Diane. All right. I'll leave it there for now. So I have to ask you this. If you didn't have a business tomorrow, if you decided, you know what, I'm going to wrap this whole thing up, what would you do for yourself?
for myself. I'd probably travel, probably go on a trip somewhere, take 30 days and do something. I don't know exactly what, but it would definitely be travel.
Yeah. I want us to come up with a 10-year plan. I know this probably sounds a little wild, but you're going to move into your 80s, right? You're 80 years old, Diane. And I want you to reflect in the last 10 years. What has she done that made you go, you know what, Diane, well done for thinking about this now, because I'm in a really good spot right now.
She has, I think the big thing is developing some passive streams of income that can continue to pay me when I'm 80, that can, generate whatever lifestyle I want without me working. Kind of thing. I think that's my goal for the next 5 to 10 years.
All right. How about we turn the Conlick methodology into something that becomes passive income stream, where you are the name and the face behind it, because you can clearly claim that you have helped build these $1 million companies. This is the methodology that you use. And you're about to show these solopreneurs who are capped, right? They're financially capped and they're time poor right now because they're having to do everything. With this easy 5-step process, you can get from here to here in less than X amount of time. And I've been doing this for 35 plus years.
Yep.
You put your name behind that. Now, when I say that to you, does that sound like something that you can do?
Oh, yeah, that'd be easy. We
got to turn that baby into a product, put some ads behind it. You put your face on it, Diane, because you're the missing piece to all of this. You are the missing piece. I don't want you saying I anymore. I want you to completely own everything that you've built from the ground up. And not a lot of people can say that standing on their mountaintop, because a lot of businesses, this, they buckle after 2-3 years. They try.
Yeah, most of them do.
Right. They fail. And then they just do not have the support or the emotional bandwidth to continue going. But Diane, you have, and you're still going. Now, us young folks want to know, how can I get to that level? I want to become a Diane myself.
I think the big key is you can't let the little things stop you, right? A lot of times that's what we do. Or you draw a line in the sand and you say, okay, if I don't make X amount of money by X date, I'm going to go do something else, or I'm going to quit, or I'm going to go get a job. You can't do that, because what if the next step you took, the very next thing you did, or the next 10 steps was the thing that brought all of it, brought all the success you were looking for, right? So if you want to be afraid of something, be afraid of that. Be afraid of quitting. Be afraid of stopping doing the thing that has gotten, whether it's, you call it whatever you want. I'm not a passion purpose kind of person. Like, I think you follow your actions as opposed to that. But whatever that thing was, whatever that burn in your belly, whatever that piece was that made you start, you got to find a way to keep that. And every time somebody tells you no, you got to look at them and say, yeah, watch me. Because here's what's going to happen, especially when you first get started. All the people who care about you, all the people who love you, and I'm putting those in quotations, right? They don't understand you.
No.
Because they have jobs, most of them. And that's their mentality. So they're going to tell you all of these things about why you shouldn't do this, why you shouldn't take this risk, why you should just follow in their footsteps and work for this company for 50 years and end up with a gold watch, which nobody does anymore, right? But that's what they know. And so that's what they're going to tell you. But they don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand that burn in your belly. They don't understand the passion that you have. They don't understand why you want to do this thing, why it's important, the difference that you want to make in your own way. So you just got to keep going. And part of that is finding somebody that believes in you and that sees something in you, maybe even before you see it yourself.
Yeah. You know what, Diane? Everything you just mentioned, I would love for you to do kind of like an Instagram or a reel series where 60-second clips of you talking about how to keep going, because a lot of the time people do run out of that stamina, or they're getting advice from the wrong people, or like you said, they could be hitting gold tomorrow, but they decided to quit because it's too hard for them in that moment.
Yep. One more swing would have broken through the wall.
Right. I want Auntie D to like come out and go, you know what, today's nugget, this is it. If there's nothing going for you right now, hang on to this one little word that I'm saying to you right now. And I can see you turning that into a series. And this is how people are going to identify everything that you're sharing, that fire in your belly. You got to keep going, that stamina, right? There's a huge burnout mentality for entrepreneurs, even for entrepreneurs who've been going for 10 years. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe I should sell. There's always a but. And even if you're making that million, what I usually tell people is, okay, so you've made your money. Now what? Right. And that now what is like crickets. They don't know because they've never thought that far ahead.
And what's interesting is so many people will tell you that when you ask them, why are you doing this? Well, it's to make money. Well,
right,
is it
always?
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. I've only ever met one person in my life who I believed money was his motivator. And when you really got down to it, what it really was, and look, one person in my life, right? What you really got down to, when you really got into it was all about making money, but it was so he could take care of his family. Right. That was real motivation, right? And so while money is the way we measure, money is almost never the real reason. It's not the motivation, right? And
it's a tool. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Motivation has to come from within. You can get inspired from what I call without, right? Or from the outside. But you have to be self-motivated. If you're looking for somebody else to motivate you, you should probably go get a job because you need the accountability, right? And here's the other piece. We spend 18 years, 22 years of our lives, 25 years now, right? With accountability. We have teachers, we have parents, we have tests in school, we have quizzes. All of those things, that's all accountability. And then all of a sudden we get out of high school or college and we decide we're going to start a job or start a business.
It's gone.
And you don't have anybody to be accountable to. So guess what? Every little thing, your buddy calls who's unemployed and says, hey, let's go to the park all day. So you go to the park all day instead of work, right? There's so many things because you don't. So you've got to have that self-motivation. You've got to have that self-accountability once you get to that point. And it's not always easy. If you're not disciplined, there's that word again, right? You're not disciplined enough to say, no, I'm sorry, man, I'm working.
Right.
You're at home.
Because you've got a bigger goal that is more important than what's happening in this moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the key, right? Yeah. You need to be in the moment, but 100% where you are, but it's not just about now. It's about also what's now and what's next.
Okay, legacy builders, right?
Yep. Next and now, man. You got to have both. You got to think about both. How does one affect the other?
Right, exactly. Well, Diane, let's wrap up now. I'm going to give you one shot, one easy elevator pitch that really helps you own who you are, your identity, and the impact that you make. Diane, who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Diane Conklin with Complete Marketing Systems, and I help people grow their businesses from where they are to where they want to be, no matter where that is and no matter where they want to go.
Okay. Diane, I'm going to give you a C grade for that one.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a C grade. All right, Diane, what is the biggest realization you've had today on the Fairy BOSSmother Show?
It's always nice to have somebody else recognize your greatness. And so I think always having that reminder is a nice thing. So probably that.
Yeah, awesome. And what's the one thing that you're going to implement today based on our conversation?
I love the idea about doing some little snippets.
I want to see you, Diane. I want to see you everywhere. Not just Diane of the past. I want to see you right now, right? Because don't underestimate the person that you've become and the person that you are becoming. Because you know what? Your personal brand is always going to evolve with you, always. Yeah. And you said so yourself. Anyone can copy your methodology, but no one can copy the person behind it. And I want to see her. Sorry, did you say Auntie D or Auntie Di? Because it's my accent. Auntie Aunt Di. I want Aunt Di everywhere. I want you to come up and say, hey, this is Aunt Di. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't quit, because you may hit gold tomorrow. Boom, 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 and out. Start with, this is Aunt Di. Aunt Di. My accent. This is Aunt Di. If you're an entrepreneur, you just started your business, Aunt Diane's going to drop a bombshell right now. Boom, 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 out. And this is how you're going to build up your persona, right? Everyone can be your nieces and nephews. You're coming from a place where you've got a lot of knowledge, a lot of expertise, and a lot to share. But it's not going to be in an overwhelming course. If they want to work with you, they know where to find you now, Diane. They know how to reach you, and they know what your values are, what you're about. And that fun personality is really going to shine out now. We're not doing corporate Diane anymore. We're doing Aunt Di. Can you do that?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Do you believe that you can do this on your own, or do you feel like you need some guidance too?
I've had a coach and a mentor ever since I've started, even before I could afford it. So I'm working with somebody currently.
Awesome. Awesome. And do you feel like you can nail everything that we talked about today and then some in less than 100 days?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? Look in the camera and say that to my face.
Absolutely.
Right. Handshake. Diane, it was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you had fun on the Fairy BOSSmother Show. Do you have any last words before we wrap up?
Just have fun in your business, do what you love, and, go make a lot of money. Go make a big difference in the world.
Awesome. Diane, it was awesome speaking to you, girl.
Thank you. You too.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy BOSSmother Show and feel ready to build your $1 million personal brand, download the Personal Brand Starter Kit for just $29 and learn the exact system I use to turn small business owners into $1 million personal brands. Go to brandlikeabosskit.com or snap the QR code on this video.